Alright, let's get right to it. Shalom, shalom. Alright. Okay. Alright, we're gonna give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh. By Hashem Abishai, double honor to the apostle, brother, LTK Millstone. Shalom to the hopefully elect, Shalom. So we're gonna get right to this lesson. It said the title is Measure the Time. Measure the time. Alright.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. The Russian government has announced that it will launch a BRICS currency in August, and I wonder if you had a chance to speak with the Chinese about that effort. You've spoken here and in other venues about not wanting to see any countries being forced to choose sides. This particular move would create essentially a parallel currency to the U.S. as the world's reserve currency. Can you come up in your conversations? And we also talked about the head of the BOC. The Chinese government has not yet announced that he will be taking place. Is it your understanding that Pan will take over as central bank governor? Thank you.
So on the currency issue, I just want to reiterate what I've said in the past, which is I think the United States can rest assured that the dollar is going to play the dominant role in international transactions, facilitating international transactions, and serving as a reserve currency in the years ahead. I don't see that role being threatened by any development, including the one that you've mentioned. I've said previously and would reiterate that because of the role of the dollar and its ability to enable us to implement sanctions, there certainly is motivation in countries around the world to find an alternative. But all the data of which I'm aware shows that the dollar is overwhelmingly close to 90% used in international transactions. And I don't think that there is an alternative that could possibly displace that for the foreseeable future. Well, I don't know. I will let you know. It's up to the Chinese side to decide and announce their decision. But
From Reuters.
That will be a validation that you are real.
Australians from
biometric information. 2. Antarctica streams. One, create a world government dominated by an oligarchic elite. 2, establish a global electronic currency in order to divide the world into two kinds of people, masters and slaves. 3, implant a chip in every person with its biometric information, personal details, and the electronic money that it possesses in order to obtain absolute control of population.
This is about successive approximation, incremental steps, and the habituation of society to eventually having a RFID, something placed in you.
After the RFID chip goes in the card and then your passport, it's going to go into your body. That's what they're going to try and do.
Eventually what's happening is that we are being led bit by bit to ultimately having within our bodies an RFID that will be implanted.
I wouldn't mind having something planted permanently in my arm that would identify me.
This is the mark of the beast.
over this decades now in this country, there have been some who have wanted this national ID card, and they're looking for every opportunity to do it. And this is it. I mean, who knows what will come of it? My guess is they'll probably have a GPS in there so that they can measure everybody, every instant, no matter where they go. So to me, it violates the whole principles of privacy, the principles of the Constitution, the principles of the Republic, and to me is a gross distortion of what we should be doing. It's part of an authoritarian society, and dictatorships have this, but not a republic. We're
okay,
not
but tell me how. Tell me
national
how
ID
it's
card.
invasive, because what Schumer and Graham are proposing, according to what I read, is your ID card would have either your fingerprint, your thumbprint on there, or it would have a reading of the veins in the back of your hand, and you'd have to be scanned by your prospective employer, and that way, if it came up that you weren't legal, they would catch you by the scan.
The state government is about to launch a new form of digital ID that means you'll never have to hand over your personal details to anyone again. It will all be stored in the Service New South Wales app on your phone, which will prove you are who you say you are.
Scanning his licence, passport and Medicare card, in less than 3 minutes, the minister proves he really is Victor Dominello.
This is unquestionably the Holy Grail.
This is your first look at the state's new digital ID.
This is a huge step forward in giving back people control over their data, control over their identity.
Personal credentials will be stored on your device. No IDs need to be handed over. And that means keeping your address and birth date to yourself. If you need to hire a car, rent a property, set up a bank account, check into a hotel, or prove you're over 18 to buy alcohol or attend an event.
All you need to do is tap your phone, and that will be a validation that you are real.
Australians from the kitchen table to the boardroom table would have an increased anxiety following the deluge of data breaches we saw late last year.
But this seeks to take away the risk because companies will never have a copy of your details in the first place.
But how can it trust you are who you say you are? Well, you'll need to take a selfie, which will be cross-checked against other forms of ID you've submitted, and when there's a match, you're good to go.
Digital ID is basically equals control for governments. It opens the door to social credit ratings, to digital currencies. It just means that everything in our life could suddenly be on our phone. Now, I'm on my phone too much anyway, but if that thing runs out of battery, suddenly I can't pay.
All right, let's get right to the scripture. Let's go to 2 Exodus 9, verse 1. He answered me, then it said, measure the time diligently in itself, and when I see pass of thy sign pass, which I told thee before, thou shalt understand that it's the very same time within the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when they should be seeing earthquakes and upwards of the people in the world, they should well understand that the Most High spoken of those things from the day that was before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that made in the world had a beginning and the end, and the end is manifest. Right, the end is manifest. Right, the end is manifest. Verse 6, even so that time, also the highest had planned the beginning and wonders and powerful works, and doing and fiction of signs, and everyone that should be saved should be able to escape by his work, by faith, whereby you have believed, right? You have believed. Verse 8, should be preserved from the same perish, and see my salvation in my land, within my borders, for I have sanctified thee for me from the beginning. Verse 9, they should be in pitiful case when I have abused my ways, and they had cast them away despiteful to dwell in turmoil. Right, for sure, and their life they received benefit and have not known me. Right, they have not known me. 2 9, verse 5, it says, for like as all made in the world had a beginning and the end is manifest. Right, the end is manifest. We keep looking at that word, but let's move on. All right, let's go to Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 1. Habakkuk 2 verse 1, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and I will watch to see what he will say unto me, and I shall answer when I am proved. And the Lord answered me, said, write the vision and make it plain upon a table, that he may run that read it. For the vision yet for the appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Thou it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry, right? It will surely come, and it will not tarry, right? It will not tarry. All right, let's move on. Let's go to Matthew chapter 16, verse 3. In the morning it will be fall weather today, for the sky is red. And Lord, O you hypocrite, you can discern the face of the sky, but can you not discern the signs of the time? Why can you not discern the signs of the time? Move on. Let's go to Luke 21, verse 34. Luke 21, verse 34. It said, take heed to yourself, like anytime your heart be overcharged with surfing and drinking and care of this life, so the day come upon you unaware. For as a snare should it come on all that dwell on the face of the whole earth. Watch it therefore, and pray always that you may be accounted worthy to escape. All those things should come to pass and stand before the Son of Man. Right, worthy to escape. All those things should come to pass and to stand before the Son of Man. Right. Luke 21 verse 34. It said, take heed to yourself, that anytime your heart be overcharged with surfing and drinking and caring of this life. So that day come upon you under white, or that day come upon you underwear. For as the snare shall come, all that dwell on the face of the whole earth. Right? Luke 21, verse 35. It said, watch it therefore and pray always that you may be accounted worthy to escape. All those things should come to pass and to stand before the Son of Man. Right? Watch it therefore and pray always. Okay. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse. Let's go to verse 1. 1 Thessalonians 5, verse 1. But if the time and season, brother, I have no need that I write unto you. For yourself no perfect. No, the day of the Lord shall come as a thief in the night, right? As a thief in the night. They should say peace and safety. The sudden destruction come upon them, as tread upon the woman with child, and they should not escape. Right, but you, brother, are not in darkness, that they shall overtake you as a thief. You are children of light and children of the day. We are not the night, nor of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. Right? Let us watch and be sober. Let's go to Revelation 13, verse 14. Verse 12. Let's go to verse 11. And behold, another beast came up out of the earth, and had two horns like a lamb, and he speak as a dragon. And he had seen all the power of the first beast before him, and called the earth and them that which dwell therein to worship the first beast, where the deadly wound was healed. He does great wonders, so that he make fire come down from heaven on the earth and the signs of man's. He deceived them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. Say to them that dwell on the earth, they shall make an image of to the beast, which had wound by the sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the beast, unto the image. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. That the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many would not worship the image of the beast, which shall be killed. And he got called both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. And there no man might buy or sell, say he has a mark or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom, let him that have understanding count the number of the beast. For it is a number of a man, his number is 600, 3 scholars 6. All right, let's go to this, Revelation 14, verse 9. Oh, I messed up. No, look at that word. What was it? Cities. Look at that word. Hold up. Right, okay. All right, you said cities. Okay, hold on. Give me a minute. All right, here we go. All right. Do I got it right? Give me a minute. Okay. All right. Hold on. Let me see some. Let's go to Revelation chapter 14, verse 9. Can you hear what it say? Come on, what it say? Making sure I'm saying it right. What the heck on this darn thing, man? It's like stupid. Oh, excuse me, hold on. Hurry up.
Exercise.
Okay, yeah, I said it wrong. Yeah, I said exceeding. Yep. No, I was saying it wrong. Yeah, what's that? And he had access all the power. He had access all the power of the first beast before him, and called the earth, and with which dwell therein to worship the first beast. Who jelly wound was healed, right? Jelly wound was healed. And he did great wonder so that he made fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of man. Verse 14, he deceived them that dwell on the earth by the meaning of those miracles, which have power to do in the sight of the beast, and say to them that dwell on the earth that they shall make an image of the beast, which had the wound by the sword and did live, right? Did live. Skip down, and he called all both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. Right, Revelation chapter 14, verse 9. The third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast, his image, and receive a mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same should drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which pour out with mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he should be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angel, and in the presence of the Lamb. Right? It said any man. Revelation 14, verse 9 says the third angel followed them and said with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast, his image and receive his mark or his forehead or in his hand, the same to drink the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which pour out with mixture unto the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angel and in the presence of the hand right is it any man. Right, that should be it right there. Let's go get Revelation chapter 1, verse 3. Revelation 1, verse 3 said, "Blessed he that readeth and hear the word of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand." Right, for the time is at hand. We got again Revelation chapter 1, verse 3. It said, "Blessed he that readeth and that hear the word of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand." Right, for the time is at hand.
For things, or I can't get my medical records up if I need it.
And you know they're going to go to implanted RFID chips. I mean, you know that. I mean, it's coming. And you know what you will do? You'll do it. You'll just do it. And I know people who will run to be the first on their block with the implanted chip.
Have this, but Grail.
This is your first look at the state's new digital ID.
This is a huge step forward in giving back people control over their data, control over their identity.
Personal credentials will be stored on your device. No IDs need to be handed over. And that means keeping your address and birth date to yourself. If you need to hire a car, rent a property, set up a bank account, check into a hotel, or prove you're over 18 to buy alcohol or attend an event.
All you need to do is tap your phone, and that will be a validation that you are real.
Australians from, the kitchen table to the boardroom table would have an increased anxiety following the deluge of data breaches we saw late last year.
But this seeks to take away the risk because companies will never have a copy of your details in the first place.
But how can it trust you are who you say you are? Well, you'll need to take a selfie, which will be cross-checked against other forms of ID you've submitted, and when there's a match, you're good to go.
Digital ID is basically equals control for governments. It opens the door.
Him goes out right there, so don't give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh. Bashim Rashad, don't want to the possibility of the great millstone. Shalom to the host of the elect. Shalom.